What does a basic can of flavored sugar water, something almost chemically trivial, really have to do with, ensuring your career longevity in the age of AI? Kind of sounds like a trick question, right? But the answer, it holds the secret to professional survival. Think about Coca-Cola for a second. They sell what's essentially sugar water for this massive markup, sometimes like 2,000%, and they command a $250 billion market value. The paradox here is, well, it's incredibly instructive. The product itself, the actual syrup, it's easily copied. I mean, any decent food scientist could probably figure it out. Yet the value of the company is just unshakable. And this model, this blueprint, that's exactly what can save your career from the AI commoditization trap.
That's really the heart of it. I know you and probably a lot of folks listening are wrestling with this sort of sinking feeling right now. They see AI tools, ChatGPT, code generators, you name it, making their skills, their individual flavor of sugar water seem cheap, common even. Yeah, it feels like the floor price is just vanishing under their feet almost daily. So our mission in this deep dive is to totally reframe that anxiety. We're going to take our sources and unpack this simple blueprint that's kind of hidden in plain sight. Using Coke as our analogy, our guide, we'll define the brutal math of this commoditization trap. Look at where you absolutely can't compete with AI. Then we'll examine Coca-Cola's 3 unshakable pillars of value, the stuff that isn't the product. And we'll introduce the orchestrator mindset, that really crucial shift from doing to synthesizing. And we'll finish up with a practical 90-day plan, tailored for this new reality. So yeah, let's dive deep into the source material.
Okay, let's unpack this commoditization trap first. It feels like it's psychological just as much as it is about business, doesn't it? We start our careers feeling, unique, like we have a special skill or approach.
Totally. But whether you're a designer, a writer, a coder, as the market matures, and especially as technology levels the playing field, those differences start to fade. Everything just starts looking kind of the same to the client or the customer. And when that happens, price becomes the only thing left to talk about.
You see this so clearly on freelance sites. If you search for something common like, I don't know, design a logo or write 5 blog posts, you're just flooded. Hundreds of offers, all looking pretty similar for ridiculously low prices, like $5, $10 sometimes. And a lot of those folks are already using AI tools, right, to just churn out generic stuff.
Exactly. And this is where the AI acceleration creates what I call the brutal math. Seriously, think about competing against an AI model. It costs the company maybe $20 a month. It never gets sick, never complains.
Doesn't need to eat or pay rent.
Right. The competition isn't just cheap. It's basically free when you scale it up. So for those simple execution tasks, the floor price just completely evaporates. And what's kind of wild here is that the quality gap, it's closing fast, like terrifyingly fast. AI outputs are getting consistently better. They're approaching human averages for a lot of basic tasks while staying exponentially cheaper. Plus, there's the volume advantage. An AI can produce like 100 times more output than a human in the same amount of time. I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes, like trying to get the exact tone I want for a really specific brief. But I have to admit, the speed of improvement is, well, it's terrifying. Trying to beat AI at those core, repetitive tasks, boilerplate code, basic data analysis, simple copywriting, it's a losing battle for us humans.
So, okay, if the product itself, our specialized skill, our service, is basically destined to become cheap sugar water, what's the single most important thing we need to do to start competing on price?
Stop doing the tasks yourself. Shift your focus entirely. Take responsibility for the outcome and become the orchestrator.
Okay, that brings us right to the core of this blueprint then. The unshakable pillars of Coca-Cola's massive, resilient value. And it's so crucial to remember, like you said, their worth doesn't really come from the product itself, not the ingredients, not the manufacturing.
Correct. Their real strength, their power, it comes from 3 big differentiators, layers of value that AI finds incredibly hard, maybe impossible to replicate. First one is brand power. We're talking trust built over decades, global recognition, the deep, sometimes subconscious emotional connection people have. Happiness, celebration, moments together.
What strikes me about that brand power is the sheer consistency. It's not just seeing the logo, it's knowing it'll taste the same whether you're in Tokyo or Tennessee. That consistency builds incredible trust, doesn't it? Through crises, through cultural shifts.
Exactly. That reliability is key. Okay, second pillar, distribution mastery. This one is often overlooked, but it's pure genius. They don't ship finished bottles all over the world. That'd be crazy expensive. They ship concentrated syrup to local bottlers. This simple strategy creates omnipresence. Coke is everywhere, but it lets local partners handle the costly parts. Packaging, bottling, final delivery. It's super efficient.
That's fascinating. So the value isn't in shipping the liquid, it's in supplying the concentrated core ingredient. They distribute potential, not the finished thing.
Precisely. And the third pillar ties it all together. Coordination excellence. Coca-Cola is fundamentally a synthesis company. They excel at orchestrating just countless moving parts. Supply chains, marketing, local partners, keeping the global brand solid while letting local teams execute.
That model, the synthesis model, it mirrors successful management perfectly, doesn't it? Good managers don't do all the coding or designing themselves. They coordinate resources, people, tools, AI now to hit the goals. They get hired based on trust and their personal brand, not how fast they type.
Absolutely. And that parallel holds even for really valuable senior individual contributors. They aren't just writing code anymore. They're orchestrating how AI tools are used, how junior talent fits in, all to achieve their strategic objective. They coordinate the resources.
So, thinking about that distribution mastery, again, shipping the concentrated syrup, how does a professional build that kind of distribution mastery in their own career?
By building a diverse, trusted professional network. That network is for collaboration and, critically, for resource access. And that network is going to be essential because the future really is about human-AI hybrid teams. AI handles the tasks, right? The execution, the sugar water. Humans coordinate, leaders orchestrate. Your irreplaceable value comes from that synthesis, seeing how all the pieces, human and artificial, fit together to create something bigger.
And this is where our core human abilities really shine through. Our sources highlight three core human superpowers that AI just finds almost impossible to replicate well, even with all its processing power.
Okay, first, coordination. This is the messy human stuff.
Yeah.
It takes understanding psychology, navigating office politics, building trust between people with different agendas, and solving those real-time, unstructured problems that just pop up.
That's usually where the real bottleneck is, isn't it? It's not writing the code, it's getting three different departments to actually agree on what the code should do.
Absolutely, 100%. Okay, second superpower, accountability. Humans bear the legal, the ethical, the moral responsibility for decisions and outcomes. We manage crises. We make strategic pivots when the market or, beliefs change. We handle that complex stakeholder communication. Accountability, that willingness to own the final result, you just can't automate that. And third, brand building. This needs cultural nuance, understanding subtle emotional triggers, building authentic relationships over time. That takes judgment based on experience and long-term investment in just being present.
So the new mindset, the really indispensable one, is outcome ownership. Shifting from I produce excellent code to something like I am fully responsible for achieving this business objective and I'll use any resource needed, which includes leveraging cheap AI for execution.
Yes. And that mindset directly fuels resource orchestration. Knowing precisely when to use a generative AI, when to lean on human talent, maybe when to bring in an external partner, all to get the optimal, most cost-effective outcome, not just the fastest or cheapest execution. Whoa. Just imagine scaling your personal output to manage, like, 1 billion queries or design 1,000 variations without writing a single line of code yourself.
Wow.
That's the power of orchestration when you really scale it.
Okay, so since these human skills coordination, accountability are so crucial, what are the most immediate practical steps somebody can take right now to start integrating AI and making that shift?
Test out 2 or 3 key AI tools relevant to your field, and then critically build clear standard operating procedures, SOPs, for how your hybrid human-AI teams will actually work together. Mid-roll sponsor read, insert sponsor read here.
All right, let's quickly review the key steps of that 90-day blueprint you mentioned. It seems like the mindset shift required in each phase is really the biggest hurdle. It's behavioral change, isn't it?
Totally. Phase 1, days 1 to 30, that's your assessment phase. You inventory your current tasks, specifically look for the repetitive, automatable stuff. Then you integrate, say, 2 or 3 key AI tools. Don't just play with ChatGPT. Maybe try a specific image generator if you're a designer or a code assistant if you're a dev. You map your network gaps. Who do you need to know? And most importantly, you define your new orchestrator value proposition. What outcome do you deliver?
And that definition needs to hammer on results, not the tasks involved, right?
Exactly. Then phase 2, days 31 to 60. This is about execution and building credibility. You master those SOPs for human-AI collaboration. This means writing down exactly when a human needs to check the AI's work. When the AI gets the green light, who's responsible for what part of the process?
And then comes the really crucial bit. Start marketing that new value. Consistently publish thought leadership, but focus it entirely on business results. Not just, hey, I used AI to write this report, but more like, I leveraged AI analysis to cut reporting time by 60%, which freed up resources to achieve X outcome.
Yes. That focus on results connects directly to the psychology of trust. Our sources are crystal clear. In a world awash in cheap commodities, trust is the single most valuable differentiator. Coca-Cola built its entire empire on familiarity, consistency, and social proof.
And you have to apply that same rigorous standard to your own career, your own personal brand.
You really do. Think consistency over perfection. Delivering reliable, predictable results consistently is way more valuable than occasional scattered moments of brilliance. You need to actively cultivate social proof. Go get testimonials, ask for referrals, but make sure they highlight your outcome ownership and coordination skills, not just your technical abilities. And finally, invest in your brand. Maintain a polished, consistent online presence, LinkedIn, maybe a personal site. Visible investment signals commitment and capability. It builds trust.
We've seen this transition play out already, sometimes dramatically. Like the graphic designer example, she saw AI commoditizing basic design work. She didn't panic. Instead, she actually increased her rates, like threefold, by rebranding as an integrated marketing solutions manager, using those same AI tools just for the execution part.
And that shift in title, that reframing, it signals everything. It shows the orchestrator mindset.
Or the content strategist who went from $50 an article, pure execution, sugar water basically, to $5,000 plus per month. Why? Because they started selling complete content strategy and taking ownership of the business outcome.
Yeah, that's like a 50-fold increase just by shifting focus from the article itself to the market impactable strategy.
Incredible. And the developer, tired of writing the same kind of boilerplate code, who shifted entirely into product architecture and business logic, they jumped from maybe an $80,000 execution role to $150,000 plus as a highly valued product development manager, again, orchestrating. So the old way, competing on just speed and cost for your skills, it's clearly a trap. What single new mindset change offers the most long-term security here?
Taking full ownership of the final business result. Competing on trust and synthesis, not just raw skills. This is a universal principle. You see it everywhere. With companies that last. McDonald's, Starbucks, Apple. Their longevity comes from synthesis, coordination, brand building. It's almost never about having the absolute best core product, because core products, well, they can always be copied eventually. So the reframing here is it's absolutely critical. AI isn't destroying human value, it's elevating it. By taking over the repetitive, commoditizable tasks, AI frees us up. It creates the opportunity for you to focus on the timeless human skills. Strategic thinking, emotional intelligence, real accountability. The lesson really is simple. Be the Coca-Cola, not the sugar water. Let AI handle the execution, a product. Your focus has to be on building those unshakable layers of value. The trust, the brand, and that masterful orchestration.
So don't wait. Don't wait for your current skills to feel completely commoditized. Start phase 1 today. Identify maybe 3 tasks AI can already handle better, faster, cheaper than you. And here's a final thought, something provocative maybe for you to chew on. If AI provides infinite cheap sugar water to everyone on the planet, what's the unique local ingredient that only you can add to the mix? What's the cultural nuance, the specific relationship, the contextual understanding that makes you truly irreplaceable in that orchestration role? The secret isn't trying to avoid being a commodity. It's learning how to succeed because of the commodity by choosing to be its orchestrator instead. Outro music fades in.